Sri Aurobindo provided advice to an individual who was trying to sort out the direction for his life and how to face the difficulties that confronted him, particularly with respect to certain vital weaknesses to which he was prone. Sri Aurobindo analyzed the condition of this individual in great detail and provided both general and specific advice for addressing the situation. The general advice is here. Sri Aurobindo notes, quote, "This ideal involves the building of mind and character and is always a slow and difficult process demanding patient labor of years, sometimes the better part of the lifetime. The chief difficulty in the way with almost everybody is the difficulty of controlling the desires and impulses of the vital being. In many cases, as in yours, certain strong impulses run persistently counter to the ideal and demand of the reason and the will. The cause is almost always a weakness of the vital being itself. For when there is this weakness, it finds itself unable to obey the dictates of the higher mind and obliged instead to act under waves of impulsion that come from certain forces in nature. These forces are really external to the person, but find in this part of him a sort of mechanical readiness to satisfy and obey them. The difficulty is aggravated if the seat of the weakness is in the nervous system. There is then what is called by European science a neurasthenia tendency, and under certain circumstances, it leads to nervous breakdowns and collapse. This happens when there is too great a strain on the nerves or when there is excessive indulgence of the sexual or other propensities, and sometimes also when there is too acute and prolonged a struggle between the restraining mental will and these propensities. This is the illness from which you are suffering, and if you consider these facts, you will see the real reason why you broke down at Pondicherry. The nervous system in you was weak. It could not obey the will and resist the demand of the external vital forces. And in the struggle, there came an overstrain of the mind and the nerves and a collapse, taking the form of an acute attack of neurasthenia. These difficulties do not mean that you cannot prevail and bring about a control of your nerves and vital being and build up a harmony of mind and character. Only you must understand the thing rightly, not indulging in false and morbid ideas about it, and you must use the right means. What is needed is a quiet mind and a quiet will, patient, persistent, refusing to yield either to excitement or discouragement, but always insisting tranquilly on the change needed in the being. A quiet will of this kind cannot fail in the end. Its effect is inevitable. It must first reject in the waking state not only the acts habitual to the vital being, but the impulses behind them, which it must understand to be external to the person, even though manifested in him, and also the suggestions which are behind the impulses. When thus rejected, the once habitual thoughts and movements may still manifest in the dream state, because it is a well-known psychological law that what is suppressed or rejected in the waking state may still recur in sleep and dream because they are still there in the subconscient being. But if the waking state is thoroughly cleared, these dream movements must gradually disappear because they lose their food, and the impressions in the subconscient are gradually effaced. This is the cause of the dreams of which you are so much afraid. You should see that they are only a subordinate symptom, which need not alarm you if you can once get control of your waking condition." End quote. Reference, Sri Aurobindo and the Mother, Living Within, the Yoga Approach to Psychological Health and Growth, Disturbances of the Body and Physical Consciousness, Healing the Nerves, pages 101 to 107.